Paul Heyman just hinted at what's next for Jey Uso, so we'll see what's going on there. We'll also check out what's going on with Braun Strowman, Maxxine Dupri, and much more. Let's start things off with Paul Heyman's teaser for what's to come with the Bloodline story. The June 2nd edition of SmackDown featured another all-time classic segment from the Bloodline, which featured Jimmy Uso confronting Roman Reigns, while Jey Uso tried to serve as the peacemaker for the entire situation. It was a classic segment that included lots of heavy blows and twists, such as Solo Sikoa leaving Roman's side and standing with his brothers, only for him to attack Jimmy Uso just a few moments later after the situation got out of hand. WWE themselves even reported on the success of the segment, claiming that the June 2nd SmackDown segment with the Bloodline was viewed over 40 million times across all their platforms, easily making it the most socially watched WWE segment of the entire year so far. Not only did the Bloodline segment draw major numbers and attention, but SmackDown in general saw its highest overall viewership in quite a long time as well. So it was a successful week for SmackDown all around. But getting back to the Bloodline segment, the show went off the air with that moment we previously talked about, where Roman Reigns appeared to be very confident that Jey Uso will fall in line, just like how he always does, and how he wasn't sweating anything related to Jey's loyalty. And that's what we quickly touched on after that segment aired. Solo Sikoa made his pick, and so did Jimmy Uso, but Jey was the only one that didn't make his voice inside truly clear. That's why Paul Heyman asked Roman about Jey in the closing moments of the June 2nd edition of SmackDown. So as of this moment, it hasn't really been confirmed yet, but the big rumor is that it will be Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa versus the Usos at Money in the Bank on July 1st in the UK. So that leaves us with roughly 4 weeks and 4 episodes of SmackDown to build up that story. Roman Reigns himself will only be on the June 16th and 30th editions of SmackDown as well. But thanks to some words from Paul Heyman that aired during the June 5th edition of Raw, we have an idea of what's next with this story. As a way to promote the July 9th edition of SmackDown, Paul Heyman said that Jey Uso will be forced to pick a side and how he will select the tribal chief side. So that appears to be where the focus will be at with the Bloodline story, at least for the next week or two. It will be focused around Jey Uso once again being put in a stressful and painful situation of choosing between his family members. Does Jey Uso stand firmly at his twin brother's side and decide to fight the battle with him? Or will Jey Uso think back to all the pain that Roman Reigns has put him through and decide to stay loyal to Roman and let his brother take this battle on all by himself? It seems like they'll be building up the tension there with Jey's decision for a while, but ultimately, it's not a big secret. Everyone expects Jey Uso to stand firmly by his brother's side and prepare to take on Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Like we've been discussing the last few times we went over the Bloodline story, the Usos have always been about protecting each other. When Roman Reigns would threaten Jimmy Uso, Jey would always step in and try to de-escalate the situation. And when Roman Reigns would threaten Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso would do the same thing and step up to defend his brother. See Night of Champions as a perfect example of that. The theme has always been for the twin brothers to protect each other. So at a time like this, where it's basically them against the world, we can definitely expect Jey Uso to stand tall by Jimmy Uso's side and fight with him, since he's already been trying to protect him the entire time. The real intriguing part here will definitely be the follow-up to whatever happens during the tag team match at Money in the Bank. Assuming that Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa pick up the victory, and knowing how insane Roman's becoming, will we see another big post-match moment at Money in the Bank? Maybe some sort of moment that involves Roman and Solo forcing Jey to watch while they brutally destroy Jimmy Uso with vicious attacks after the match. Jey's entire mission so far has been to protect his brother. So to see him go through this big failure of not being able to protect him from this brutal attack from Roman and Solo could really deepen the story and add a lot to it. Maybe this is how Roman gets Jey Uso to break again and fall back in line. Remember that Roman Reigns first got Jey Uso to start breaking back in 2020 by threatening some attacks on Jimmy Uso. So it would be a great full circle and callback moment if Roman reverts back to the same strategy in an attempt to get Jey back to his side again. Maybe that could lead to Jey rejoining the Bloodline, but Jey will quietly be coming up with his own way to take down Roman Reigns the proper way this time around. And maybe that's what completes this trilogy and gets us to see that third matchup between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. So right when you think the Bloodline story could be slowing down, they always find a way to take it to new heights. So this story will be continuing to be very interesting to follow, and we'll have to see what other big twists and turns awaits us in the storyline. Braun Strowman just made his return to WWE back in September 2022. He was surprisingly released from the company back in 2021, but was brought back under Triple H's regime. Strowman never returned to the world title scene once he returned, but still had lots of great moments, such as his tag team with Ricochet. But Strowman went quietly missing for a while and no one knew what was going on. Well, a new report is claiming that Braun Strowman recently had neck fusion surgery. This massive procedure has Braun Strowman out of action indefinitely, with no clear recovery time or return time frame being known at the moment. So, it's extremely unfortunate for both Braun Strowman and WWE. It looks like it's definitely going to be a while before Braun Strowman steps foot in the ring again. Maxxine Dupri has been having a real intriguing storyline going on at Raw with Otis and Chad Gable. At first, it appeared that Maxxine was trying to take Otis away from Chad and bring him into maximum male models. But as time went on, the script really flipped. Maxxine Dupri was the one that ended up leaving MMM and joining Otis and Chad Gable in the Alpha Academy. For weeks now, Maxxine Dupri has been joining Otis and Gable to the ring for their matches. And over the last few weeks, it seems like more and more tension has been building between Maxxine and Valhalla. Maxxine even delivered a kick to Valhalla on Raw a few weeks back, and it appears that this could all be leading towards Maxxine's first official match in WWE. The June 5th edition of Raw featured a backstage segment with the Alpha Academy. Chad Gable was talking about how they have to get Maxxine Dupri ready to start training to take on Valhalla. And that's where the story left off at for the week. So it appears that WWE could be gearing up for the official in-ring debut of Maxxine Dupri in the coming weeks. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.